Conversations with Nicole. Let's talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about, let's talk about, yeah. Let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole, Everett, your host. And Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is what I call Wellness Wednesday, which is an opportunity for you, me, and my guests to chat about something interesting and intriguing. And today I have not one, but two very special guests, Dr. Tomia Austin and Devard Darling, who are going to talk about a very special event that is taking place here in Tallahassee tomorrow. It is a memory of, in loving memory of Devaughn, who is Devard's brother, Devaughn and Devard. Boy, that's a tongue twister right there. This is his twin brother who passed away 25 years ago. And so they are paying tribute to Devaughn tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the Florida State University Visitor Center. And so they're going to tell us all about that. But before I bring them on, I need to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. And your comments and questions are very much so welcome. So put your city and the state in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from so we can give you a shout out. And please like, share, and tag a friend and let them know they need to be on here. We're talking brotherhood, grief, and purpose. And it's going to be a great conversation. So I see Brother Quasi, who is here from Atlanta. Thank you for being here. I will say this. Black History Month is coming to a close. I just came in from the Working Class Wednesday Black History edition over in Quincy, Florida. We have not been to Quincy before Working Class Wednesday, and boy, it was at CJ's Kitchen and Hookah, and it was a great time. He probably had about maybe 20 vendors that were there set up, and we had African dance and drum from Ioka Dance and Drum, and it was just a beautiful evening. So definitely support the businesses in Quincy, Florida. They are doing big things. All right, I see Miss Tangi Jones here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you, Tangi. Well, I know there'll be some more folks joining us, so I am going to go ahead and share my guest bio. So up first is Dr. Tomia Austin. She is a medical science liaison, public health expert, and rare disease educator, serving as the executive director of the As One Foundation, a behavioral health scientist, health educator, and researcher for nearly 30 years of nonprofit experience, and she has dedicated her career to advancing health literacy and equity for disadvantaged communities, with a focus on sickle cell trait, sickle cell disease, and related health disparities. Under her leadership, the foundation delivers life-saving education tools and programming for families worldwide. She is based in the Atlanta metro area, but she telecommutes to Houston, Texas, where she leads the foundation's mission in honor of families impacted by sickle cell. Y'all help me welcome Dr. Tomia Austin.
Hey.
Welcome.
It sounds so much better when someone else reads it.
Well, it's all true. So tell the people, who is Dr. Tomia Austin? Not what you do, but who are you?
Tomia Austin, Dr. Tomia Austin I'm still a rose-colored glasses wearer.
Okay.
I believe that everything will be all right. I
Mhm.
certainly believe that I'm at a threshold of major, major change when it comes to sickle cell and sickle cell trait in particular. So I'm in this space with a lot of hope, with a lot of belief, and a lot of blood, sweat, and tears.
Love it, love it, love it, love it. No, that's very hopeful. Um, oh, very hopeful and glad to hear that there is that you're working in this space because there's so much that it can be so debilitating and there's so much that we don't know about it, right?
Yep.
It's and so it's good to have an expert on. So I'll just say that.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yes, 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 yes. So our next guest is Devard Darling. He is a retired NFL veteran wide receiver and represents the 18% of professional athletes living with sickle cell trait. A native of Nassau, Bahamas, and we was trying to figure out if we was kin folks because my family's from the Bahamas too. Darling was selected as the 82nd pick in the third round of the 2004 NFL draft, making him one of the first. Oh, no, don't call me right now. I'm on the live. Bahamian athletes to get drafted to the National Football League. And he accomplished another boyhood dream shared by he and his late identical twin, Devaughn Darling, when the As One Foundation was founded in 2007. The As One mission is to educate and increase awareness of sickle cell trait while encouraging youth to achieve their dreams in the face of life's challenges. As a spokesperson for the foundation, he's devoted to ensuring his brother's death was not in vain by sharing the importance of and awareness of sickle cell trait. And as a trait warrior, I love that, a sickle cell trait carrier and an identical genetic match to his late brother. He is living proof that the hold on.
Exertion,
Thank
exertional.
you. Exertion sickling. Exertional sickling is preventative and should never result in death. Y'all help me welcome Devard Darling.
Hey, how you doing? Appreciate y'all for having me on. Thank you,
Our
thank you.
pleasure. Our pleasure. Thank you. No, my pleasure. My pleasure. So, Devard, please tell the people who is Devard Darling, not what you do, but who are you?
Well, sure. I guess I'll describe myself as a, Bahamian black melanated king. Who love and love people and love the goodness in people, and definitely want to make a change in this world and continue to affect people in a positive way, with love and through love. So that's who I am.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So let's start off by talking about what happened to your brother. I think that
Well,
would be a good place to start.
yeah, it was 25 years ago, right? Bringing it back, 2001. We were freshmen here at Florida State University.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we played as true freshmen. Just came off the national championship, which we
Mm,
lost that one. We lost to Bob Stoops in Oklahoma,
mm,
uh, in the Orange Bowl that year. But uh, but yeah, that's that time, and then after that, it was getting into winter conditioning,
mm,
which was around this time of the year. All D1 athletes and college football players around this time are going through winter conditioning,
mm-hmm.
getting ready for the spring season, and mat drills, 5 a.m. mat drills was what Florida State was known for back in the day, especially back then. It was, Coach Bowden's said to be his secret sauce, through all the 90s and through all the years of winning. Yeah, we had schools coming, universities coming from all around the country just to watch us do how we did these drills. And
Got you.
it was 3 20-minute section drills set up. It's nonstop movement. Number one rule is you can't quit. Unwritten
Mm,
rule is you can't get water. There's no water allowed.
mm,
Um, and trash cans around for people throwing up.
mm.
The environment was much different back then than how it is now.
Yeah.
We had a mat section, a mat room, a huge wrestling mat where most of the drills, the hardest part of the drills, went down in that mat room. So it was a situation to where he that day, it was more of he was going to be the starting linebacker going into the spring. It was more of what you going to do fourth quarter against Miami type
Mhm.
situation, which is a hat on him that day. They were testing him. They wanted to see what he was made of, um, and they pushed him. They pushed him past his brink.
Yeah.
Um, he was sick the night before. I remember it like yesterday. He was sick, that whole week actually. Um, but I know he took some been taking some ephedra back then. Ephedra was just, you can just go get ephedra out the store back then.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he had some of that in his system, but it was just more due to the environment. And like I said, we didn't find out that we had the sickle cell trait you know, till our freshman
Really?
year was here. But on that day specifically, Devaughn, his last section of the day was the mat drills,
Mm,
and we played different positions, so we weren't together at the time. He was in a different section, and I was, but we got to pass each other going to the last section of the day, and his
mm-hmm.
was the hardest section, and he was already feeling it. You could tell he was already blowed. He was tired. He was gassed, you know, and I know that's not a good sign going into the hardest part of the drill, the
Right.
day. And we saw each other, we gave each other that. We always encouraged each other. And but that was yeah, the last time I saw him up on his feet moving around. Um, um, After the mat drills, after the sessions, we all go back to the mat drill. I mean the mat room, where we get graded in each section. Each person get graded in each section of the drill of that day, and that's why I saw Devaughn again, and he was sitting down with the ice pack on the back of his neck, with trainers around him, just watching him. And
Yeah.
at that time, everyone is scrambling for water because now that the drill is over, we can go get water now. And
Mm-hmm.
there's two trainers there, just like this, watching him, looking over him, and we're there sitting down, waiting to get graded, receive our grades for the day, and all of a sudden, yeah, they picked Devaughn up and they proceeded to carry him out the room. And while carrying him out the room, one of the coaches, because we all getting grades, there goes our only F for the day, getting carried out. It's that was the mentality of the place. You know what I'm saying? It was who it was doggy dog, and that's what we put in real work. And that day they pushed Devaughn past his brink.
Yeah.
Um, in the mat drills, you go in groups of four. One
Mm-hmm.
person in your group messes up, they send the entire group back.
Mm,
And at that point, they got to a point where they were just sending Devaughn back by himself over and over and over again. And yeah, his body broke down. So at that point of them carrying him out, taking him down to the training room, um, from that point on, it was like a nightmare. The movie started. You know, I left the room, told the coach, "Hey, excuse me, I got to go check on my brother." Went
yeah.
down there, and that was something I just didn't expect to see, was them performing CPR on my brother. You know,
Mm,
in the training room at that moment, and I just went nuts. It was chaos. And it was, like you said, it was the toughest day of my life. Seeing that, um, being there to experience that. There's so much more detail that went into exactly what happened that day.
and that's fine. I mean,
it's but that was it, you know. Um, he came into the day already not feeling well,
Right.
too well, but at the same time, you know, he was pushed,
Mm,
and in that environment, not of course rigorous exercises and everything else, and not being allowed to get water,
hmm.
definitely contributed into his passing. And it
Yeah.
was, like I said, it wasn't until we were further educated,
Hmm.
that we figured and we knew, obviously from the autopsy and everything, that sickling his there was sickling in his blood, and
Mm.
that played a part in him passing away.
So please tell me that this treatment of players has been eradicated.
Oh yeah, of course. I guess I would say, I want to say the treatment of them, the environment has been in a much better place. Uh, there's scheduled water breaks now. Um,
That's what
there,
I really meant too, was
yes, the
the water
schedule.
break
There were
particular.
scheduled water breaks. It's in a big open environment now, a big open gym. There's the
Mhm.
EMS on there. There's defibrillators now available. There's education on what the sickle cell trait is. Period. Beyond just that, what we were told, when you're ready to procreate, when you're ready to have a child, that make sure that your mate doesn't have the trait
Mm,
as well.
yeah.
So there's a lot more that's changed, and that's
Mm,
due to Dr. Tomia Austin and the Aswan Foundation. A lot we have done. The NCAA has mandated, you know, testing for all D1 athletes, or being educated on the sickle cell trait.
nice.
Um, going to Washington State, there was, like I said, through this journey, through Devaughn passing, and us going on this journey of promoting sickle cell trait and hydration, and the importance of it, we've made huge changes, huge strides. And I'll let Dr. Tamia
Yes.
go over all the statistics and everything else, but we wanted to make sure that Devaughn Darling, Devaughn Stephen Everett Darling, his name will never be
Yes.
forgotten. And
Absolutely.
through the Osborne Foundation, we want to continue to change lives, save lives, and educate families out there over something that, like I said, this could have been prevented. Devaughn could be right here with us
Mm,
right now, um, but his purpose was for a higher calling, and
yeah.
that's what we're here for. And we appreciate the platform, Miss Nicole.
Absolutely. Well, my sincere condolences, and just sending lots of love and light to you and your family.
Thank
Um, so I want to get Dr. Tamia involved in this conversation. So, if you will, Dr. Tamia, kind of talk to us about the foundation and some of the work that you all have done. Oh, you're muted. You're muted.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much again for this platform, for the opportunity to share about what we're doing tomorrow.
Yes.
And every time I listen to Devard speak about Devaughn, the light bulb just burns brighter for me.
Mm,
This foundation that I've been working for since March 1st, 2010, is literally what gave my life purpose. I am a 3-time FAMU graduate, a very proud Rattler.
oh,
And
Rattlers.
yes, I am. And I have always been a lover of sports. I thought, I went to a private Christian school. My graduation class was like 4 people. Yeah.
Mm,
But I didn't get to play sports in school. I kind of think I probably would have been a pretty good softball player, but possibly even volleyball. But I've just always been enamored by sports, collegiate sports, pro sports, and I describe football in particular as the original NFL football as the original reality TV. You just and even now college football, you just don't know what's going to happen, but somehow I just developed when I was invited to apply for the job of being the executive director for the As One Foundation. I had just a minute knowledge about the Darling twins, even though very connected to Tallahassee, but my husband, who's a former athlete, knew all about it. So in prepping for the interview, got myself really prepared, and I couldn't believe it, what happened to Devaughn. And from that moment, it just sounded like this shouldn't have happened. And when I started working for the organization, the mission was, very, pro athlete, football camps, backpack drives, Thanksgiving baskets or whatever. But a couple years in, I realized that the sickle cell trait in particular, the entire sickle cell story separated us from the masses. And we worked to pivot and update our mission to what it is now, which is empowering families globally through the deliverance of life-saving sickle cell education. We have definitely learned that sickle cell trait is the disparity within the disparity, because there's approximately 4 million people in the United States that live with sickle cell trait. Majority of them don't know, and over 300 million worldwide. And when they find out, is either by having a child with sickle cell disease, or they experience something like what Devaughn experienced. And thankfully, all of them are not dying, but even, being symptomatic with a condition like rhabdomyolysis is preventable. And as much as we are grateful that Florida State has turned the page and is doing things differently, Bucknell just had a young athlete by the name of Calvin Dickey, who his family has connections also to Tallahassee. CJ lost his life in 2024.
Oh, wow.
Very similarly to what happened with Devaughn. So as long as this time of year is the time that, we start hearing the hashtags of CJ Strong, of Devaughn Strong, unfortunately, the As One Foundation has a purpose. And I'm trying to not have a job, really.
Yeah.
That's the goal. The goal is to not have to console a parent who is just curious, like, what didn't I know? Why did this happen? And every single thing, I feel really emotional right now.
Yeah. But
every single thing, every single event, every single activity of the As One Foundation is in Devaughn's memory, continuing to speak his name. His heart beats through the athletes' lives that we're saving, the parents that we're reassuring, and even the doctors that we're educating, the nurses, the school nurses, the coaches. We speak to them in very succinct terms with 3 pieces of advice. And that advice is, when training these young athletes, please allow them to go from rest to exertion gradually. They cannot go they want them to run a full, 50-yard dash at full speed. They need to gradually get there. Yeah. And then hydration. And hydration is 2 parts. It is to be hydrating before, during, and after physical activity, but it's also consuming half your body weight in ounces of water per day. And then finally, they need to be allowed as many recovery breaks as they need. And as Devard described, none of these were available to Devaughn.
Mhm.
In short, we say warm up, drink up, rest up. Very simple. And that's our little elementary school kids can repeat after us and say, warm up, drink up, rest up.
Yes.
I need to warm up. I got to go gradually. I need to drink before, during, and after. And I need to drink half my weight in ounces of water. And I need to be allowed recovery breaks. And we ask them to demonstrate to us, what does recovery look like? And that is being able to take a knee. That is being able to put your hands on your hips or put your hands above your head in the cobra pose, or, whatever you do to get your breath back. And, Devard often talks about episodes that he continues to have, especially if he doesn't warm up, drink up, rest up, as an adult living with sickle cell trait. Everyone doesn't experience this, but the exertion component is usually where the trouble spot is. So that's why we educate about exertion.
Yep. Exertion, high elevation, all of that. Those are some of the things that are very, very if you have the symptoms and if you get those symptoms, it's in those environments, it cannot be not fun at all. So not being able to catch your breath is not a good feeling.
I can imagine not. So let's talk a little bit about this event. So come on, who wants to talk about it?
Okay. I'll just say that tomorrow is February 26th, 2026, exactly 25 years to the day that Devaughn became our angel. So we decided to come back to the origin story location. We will be out there from 10 to 3 tomorrow, just outside of the unconquered statue, with a blood drive. And the blood drive is addressing the other part of our mission, that those that live with sickle cell disease who could require a blood transfusion as many as 4 times a month. So far, AI is not reproducing blood. The only way blood is delivered to those patients is by people donating it. And Black folks represent 4% of blood donors. 4%. But we have a 21% chance of needing blood. So this is the gift that as soon as you start bleeding, as soon as that needle is in your arm, your blood starts regenerating. So it's reproducing in you as you give it. But one blood donation can save 3 lives. And we want to encourage everyone to donate tomorrow, but we want them to also establish a habit of donating every 53 days. And that 53 means so much to me because that is Devaughn's jersey number. He rests in peace right now in his FSU number 53 jersey. But every 53 days you can donate. And I would just say, don't decide you can't. Let them tell you. Go sign up and let them tell you you can't donate. Eat your hamburger, get you some green leafy veggies to build up your blood, and go and donate it. It usually takes people 5 minutes to bleed enough for a blood donation. Some people take a little longer, and our bigger men, our athletes, can donate to the power donor status, meaning that they save 6 lives with one donation. So we want everybody to come out tomorrow at FSU, just outside the visitor center. We're going to start the blood donation at 10 a.m. and then at noon, we will do a memory walk just around the corner. There is a Devaughn Darling memory tree on campus.
Nice.
And we will do a bubble release because public health does not believe that balloon releases are healthy for our environment. So we will do a bubble release, but Devard will address the press at 12 p.m. and we'll finish up the blood drive at 3:30.
Nice. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Wow. Um, all right. So we are about halfway through our talk.
Sure.
For those of you who are just tuning in, we're talking brotherhood, grief, and purpose. I'm on with Devard Darling and Dr. Tomia Austin, and they have a big event tomorrow celebrating the life of Devaughn Darling, Devard's twin brother, identical twin, who passed away 25 years ago tomorrow, as a result of sickle cell trait and overexertion from football practice training and not being able to have water, not being able to hydrate and rest. Whew, this is so heavy, but I'm glad we're having this conversation. Jenny said, this is such a needed conversation. I also offer my condolences for your loss, Devard, but thank you for sharing your story. Yes. We got several folks who have chimed in. Sean Williams, Dr. Tomia, she's a true advocate for sickle cell. Yes, she is. Tracy Golay with us. My mom down in Miami, love you. Enigma Sep, he said, my God. Yes, Janita, thank you for being here. I just saw you in Quincy. G. St. Ford, thank you for being here. Dr. Willie Williams, okay, Dr. Austin. Yes. My sister Shayla just joined us. And my new podcast cousin, Sambaza, who is chiming in from Dallas, Texas. Thank you for being there. He says, praying for the family. So, what would you all have us do? Us who, I mean, yes, you've given us a charge for tomorrow, but is there anything else that we can do to support this work?
Okay, to support the work, look up the As One Foundation. We always need your foldable money.
Okay.
But to help us move the needle, know your status. Go and get tested. Find out whether or not you are living with sickle cell trait or not. And this is important because, like I said, the 4 million people in the United States affected by sickle cell trait don't know. There is a statistic that I've been quoting from a medical doctor here that says 97% of all sickle cell disease births are born to people living with trait and didn't know it. So 97% as a public health professional, statistically, that's everybody. That's 100% of folks living with sickle cell trait don't know they have it before they procreate. But there's family planning now. You can know your status, and not just know your status, because there's hundreds of genotypes associated with sickle cell disease and sickle cell trait. And you can also learn what susceptibility you could possibly have to be symptomatic. The research is that anywhere above or upwards of 30% of sickling in your blood is a predictor of the likelihood of symptoms. And thromboembolism, well, the number one symptom of sickle cell trait is chronic fatigue. That tired all the time with just no explanation. Why do I feel so tired? Why am I dragging? I met with a woman, a 47-year-old woman who, she said, my mother eventually apologized to me because all her years of growing up, she thought she was a hypochondriac. She just was so tired all the time. She wouldn't do this. She wouldn't do that. Well, she had sickle cell trait and she had a larger percentage in her blood. And that the fatigue, the chronic fatigue explained that. Another symptom is thromboembolism. There's a high propensity to blood clot if you have sickle cell trait. And then there's others like splenic infarction, which you can experience when you fly or deep sea dive. Retinopathy sometimes is a symptom. And this is not to say you have sickle cell trait, so you will have all these. No, You
Okay.
just need to know your status. And then if you're having aching and pain in your body, see a hematologist. And for the record, I am a PhD. I am not an MD. I'm not a clinician. So please go and discuss if you're having symptoms with your physician, or if you have a child that is complaining. Oxidative stress is the technical term for what happens with athletes like Devard, who works out right now. And when he doesn't prepare properly, he can experience oxidative stress. You can survive oxidative stress. It does not have to kill you, but you need to stop. You need to warm up. You need to get hydration. There are some therapeutics out there that can help you with oxidative stress.
Uh-uh. All right. I think
I
we
think
had
we lost
a
her
little
for a
text,
second.
yeah, a little
Okay.
technical issue there.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
here we
Okay.
go. Okay, you back. Here we go. All right.
Okay. So, know your status. That's what we want everybody to do. And listen.
Hey, Doc, can I stop real quick? Can I
Okay, sure.
ask you a question?
Sure.
Can you let everyone know the type of test you have to ask for, request when going to the doctor? What specifically you should ask them?
That is an excellent question. So, the test is called a hemoglobin electrophoresis.
Hmm.
That is the long name, but it's a test that will not only tell you, yes, are positive for trait, and it will tell you which trait, like which genotype, and it will tell you your percentage. The hemoglobin electrophoresis. When I'm done talking, I'll type it into the chat.
Okay. That's fine.
And you can do this at your regular doctor. I'll tell you a quick little story. I went to the doctor a couple years ago now, and I said, look, I am constantly telling people to just, when your doctor is pulling routine blood, ask them to run your blood for sickle cell. You can also do a complete blood count, which is short, CBC, which is short for complete blood count. Um, and she was like, why do I need to do that? And I said, well, I'm constantly educating people about the importance of knowing their status, and that they can just ask their doctor when they're doing routine blood work. So with a little coddling, she did agree to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And a day later, she called me screaming on the phone because I was positive for alpha thalassemia trait. It is not a sickle cell trait, but it's an anemia trait, and I would not have known had I not asked for that blood test.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and it's as simple as that. Now you can go to a lab, and the Aswan Foundation has paid for vouchers to go to like Quest Labs or any lab test or whatever. But routine blood work, they will run your blood through a hemoglobin electrophoresis, and you can find out. And this is not just for Black folk. Even though Black
Okay.
people of African descent are disproportionately represented in those affected by sickle cell and sickle cell trait, sickle
Mm-hmm.
cell affects people of African, Asian, Indian, Latin, Mediterranean, Italian, Irish, Greek, and Turkish descent.
Wow.
So yes, this is a blood condition. It's not a skin condition. Blonde hair, blue-eyed folks are walking around with trait. I know several families that look white,
Right.
and they have children with sickle cell disease and sickle cell trait.
Wow.
So don't play the principle of exclusion because I'm not white, or I'm not Black, or I'm not Latino. And the next largest population here in the United States
Mm-hmm.
is Latino. And if
Mm.
you in India is like the Black people over here. They are the leaders
Mm.
of the populations affected. So everybody just needs to go get tested.
Right. Wow. Ooh, I am again kind of blown away by all of this information, but it's great information. My cousin Berna from Miami, Bernadette Ingram, just chimed in. I told you us Ingrams,
Union connection.
Damien's, yeah, sure. And then Jamil, who's here in Tallahassee, she said this information is gold. Wow, yes. Great information. So, okay, so I did put the foundation website up. So you said we could get tested. You just told us the specific test that we need to be asking for. And I guess, Devard, like, what have you changed as a result in your life? Outside of resting and hydrating and that sort of thing, but have you changed anything personally, from a health standpoint, as it relates to finding out all of this about your you having the trait?
Of course, it was just being more aware.
Mm,
Obviously after all of this happened, um, finding out our freshman year what happened, and then Devaughn passing away. Um, and it was a long journey. I therefore transferred from Washington State uh, transferred from Florida State to Washington State.
mhm,
Um, there was a whole story behind that. Florida State, they didn't want to clear me to play football here. They had me go see their doctors, their cardiologists, and everything else, and they wouldn't clear me to play any sports here anymore. That
gotcha.
was obvious reasons why. They knew they were negligent and that they were liable, and my family's going to take legal action against them. So they did what they had. I learned about the business of college football real quick, really quick. Um, but being more aware of my body, obviously from here, I went on to Washington State. Um, I redshirted that first year up there, but doctors had to fight for me to get cleared at Washington State. I took, I don't know, numerous of EKGs, numerous of stress tests, and
Mm,
everything else because they thought something was wrong with our hearts. They thought that the Darling family, the Darling boys, Darling twins had some degenerative heart disease that flowed through their family, and that was not the case,
mhm.
at all. But that's what the information was out there. So this followed me all through my entire career at
Wow.
the combine, NFL combine, which is going on right now in Indianapolis.
Mhm,
Um, Man, I had to take all kinds of extra tests and
mhm,
stress tests there, and more EKGs and everything. My heart was the issue. I have stacks and stacks of medical records, all on the condition of my heart, and it's
mhm.
perfectly
Yeah.
perfectly so it's just being more aware of your body. Like I said, even after I have had episodes where, okay, let me just get up real quick. I didn't eat nothing. I didn't really drink much the day before, or going in, hey, let me just get a quick workout real quick, get in and out. And I found myself in a similar situation where I just couldn't recover, couldn't
Mm,
breath. I was in the gym in the YMCA, and
mhm,
walls were coming in and all that was happening. And then, yeah, you start to panic. You start to, not feel well. So I've had these same episodes happen to me before, you know, if I, and then of course afterwards I'm like, yo, I didn't do what I need to do. I didn't do
yeah,
my usual routine.
mhm,
Um, and so just being more aware of the situation, being more aware of your body, even while going, doing things with leisure, just being in high altitude,
mhm, mhm,
snowboarding or being up in the mountains, going to
mhm,
Breckenridge. We had to have extra oxygen tanks,
mhm,
headaches and migraines and all
mhm.
that stuff. So you just have to truly be aware and knowing your status, knowing your blood type, knowing your genotype is of
Mhm.
utmost importance when we talk about this. So
Yeah,
it's a difference between can be a difference between life and death, and just by knowing and by having the right practices.
absolutely. Absolutely. Micaiah Warren just joined us. She said, "Hi, Dr. Tomia. We can never share this information too much. So needed." Yes. Yes. Thank
Well,
you.
there's still athletes out there, and that's just specific. I mean, still young people still dying out there,
Yeah.
still dying, and this is something that's preventable because especially in that environment, they're in the care of coaches, they're in the care of other athletic trainers, they're in the care of other people. So we have, not only put it on the onus of course, know your own status, but we've done a lot of work working with athletic trainers, working with doctors, working with schools and everyone who create this environment to make sure that it's a safe environment for everyone and for their athletes, especially.
We
Indeed.
also appeal to parents because there's a culture in football in particular that will cause a young man or even a young woman to choose to go through that wall. I want to be pushed to the limit. So we need our parents to be that mother, be that mom that's going to go to practice and be like, no, coach, my son, my daughter needs to have water and they need to be drinking all day. And that means they need to have passes to go to the bathroom because they have to drink, because hydration is the difference between life and death for them. And this is not just reserved for athletes. This is reserved for our sororities and fraternities members. This is reserved for our marching band people. This is reserved for those.
Everyone.
Yeah, I want to run a marathon. Okay, well, you need to make sure you know whether or not you have sickle cell trait. And these are you need to practice warm up, drink up, rest up. And, it's so simple that, you just can't, you should not do it. You should understand your body, like Devard says, and our medical community, we are constantly telling them that sickle cell trait presents differently in every patient. So as much as we have a baseline of what it will look like, you have to listen to lived experience is value. It has value. So they need to listen to the patient, but the patient needs to listen to their body and know what they can and cannot do. But we have this culture to combat. But there's good news. And the good news is that we have an adjusted for statistic that tells us that approximately 18% of NFL players play and live with sickle cell trait. And knock on wood, the NFL has not been the cause of an athlete death while playing. However, so you can play. It is not a death sentence. You can play with sickle cell trait. You got to practice, warm up, drink up, rest up, but you can play. And the NFL does a really good job of supporting athletes in that way. But there is also a rare and often fatal kidney cancer that is associated with sickle cell trait. Only people living with sickle cell trait are affected by renal medullary carcinoma. Only people living with sickle cell trait.
What?
And yes. And the research is now telling us that exertion correlates. So I got to speak with a medical doctor. She practiced family medicine. Her name is Dr. Maldonado, and I speak her name because she is no longer with us, because she recalled she would just run. She was a runner, and she would just run past her being tired. She would just run. And later in life, she was diagnosed with renal medullary carcinoma. She went through a full chemo, bout, and was in remission for a time, but ultimately succumbed to renal medullary carcinoma. She had trait, she was Latino, and she was a runner. So when there's that exertion there, if you're not, number one, the symptom of renal medullary carcinoma is lower flank pain. But often if you've already got pain, if you're already experiencing blood in your urine, you're looking at a late stage diagnosis. But we advise all of people living with sickle cell trait, have your doctor ultrasound your kidneys annually. That is the way that if a tumor is there, it can be found in stage 1 or stage 2 that can be reversed. So again, not to scare
Right.
people, we just want
Right.
people to have information, listen to your bodies, and sometimes that pain can sound or feel like a cramp. It's not a cramp. A 50-year-old person that has sickle cell trait and has been having the same pain in their arm or the same pain in their ankle, that's not growing pains at 50.
Right.
But that's what a lot of our trait words have been. Oh, that's just growing pains. Maybe, yeah, if you're 13, but not 50.
Yeah.
That's a symptom. So we are tracking this. We are, speaking for a lot of our voiceless people, because also there's a juxtaposition sometimes in the family. You can have a trait sibling to a disease sibling, and that disease sibling is often hospitalized, having serious crises. So maybe that trait sibling will dumb down what their symptoms are to advocate for their sibling that's suffering the way that our sickle cell disease patients often describe suffering. And it's admirable, but it's not healthy. So
Right. Uh-oh.
yeah, we have
Yeah,
to we have to
cramping, like you say, cramping is a huge indicator and marker. I look back and remember Devaughn cramped a whole lot in high school.
Did he?
Yes, he did. If you want to, listen to a lot of other former and current NFL players who have the trait, cramping is something that's pretty much common in everyone's story. So so just just have to be more aware of your body. Being aware of your body and knowing your status is of course key. And then
Yeah.
just take precautions in life, and it doesn't slow you down in life, doesn't prevent you. You just have to be aware of it and knowing what you're doing, know what
yeah.
you're doing, and get tested, get checked, and and you'll be fine. But
Hydrate, hydrate,
hydrate,
hydrate,
yes, and
hydrate.
hydrate. So
Okay.
it's not a newfound disease, nothing like that. The sickle cell world, sickle cell family, sickle cell trait, sickle cell disease. I mean, you can't have the disease without the trait, and vice versa. We all in one family. Especially, like I said, more people are affected with the trait. It starts with the trait. So the
Mhm.
more education we can get out there, the more people we can inform, and the more
Mhm.
people know that they have the trait status.
Yeah.
We can, through prevention of we can prevent having, procreating more people with the disease, and then
Right.
also just be more aware. Just be
Yeah.
more aware.
So we got a couple comments and a few questions that I want to bring to our attention. So Janita said, I've seen hemoglobin testing on my labs, but I'm unsure of the second word mentioned. Um,
Electrophoresis.
okay.
Electrophoresis.
Hmm. Okay.
Electrophoresis.
All right. And then she said, it's amazing. 25 years later, we are having a conversation about Darling. That's legacy. Thanks for sharing. Jamil said, it's my business coach says, information changes the seasons of your life. Wow, wow, wow. Ignorance is not bliss. All right. And then Micaiah said, my son has a trait and presents very similar symptoms as sickle cell disease and is into sports. It's a little scary. What do you suggest is the best way to talk to your kids about what's going on in their bodies without hurting their confidence or scaring them?
Um, Number one thing is, especially when working hard, and coaches and youth sports right now. I mean, these dudes, these
They
young kids are working. They
They are.
working. They working. I'm there. I've been part of. I got three young boys, three
Mm,
sons. Yeah, these kids and coaches are pushing them. These kids are working. So as parents, yes, just like you said, make sure they're hydrated before, during, and after. When you're home with them, the meals that you're cooking and preparing for them, make sure they're healthy, make sure they're hydrated, make sure they're getting their fruits and everything else, and they're resting well too. Because
mm,
sometimes, I mean, my sons, my shoot, 11, 12-year-old son, he's done with practice at 9 p.m. at night. You know what I'm saying? Like, and have to get up for school, on some days. So these kids are working out there, man.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's you have to almost train and be prepared just like a pro. You have to take care of your body, and as a professional athlete, that's the number one thing, is taking care of your body, and
Yeah.
knowing your body. And so, like I said, as parents, you have to be educated and on what's going on. You don't have to stop them
Right.
from doing it. You don't have to scare them, but make sure they know their body, and make sure they know, hey man, if you need rest, if you need water, you look that coach in the eye and tell them, hey, I need one. You know what I'm saying? A coach will respect you, and you have, and don't tell them not to be scared. Because man, I wish Devaughn would have just quit that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish he would have. And
Yeah.
that was him. One thing about him, he was never gonna quit. He wasn't
Mhm.
gonna quit. And that day, I just wish he would have just bowed out just a little bit, But he's that warrior, and he was always going to push forward, no matter what. And you have some athletes like that. If a coach tell them to do something, they're gonna do it. You
Yeah.
know, and so that's why we're doing this work right now. But as a parent, you have to prepare your kids for that. Make sure they're properly hydrated. Make sure they're properly fed, and that they're getting their rest. And if they need to stick up for themselves, they might, like you said, you go to that coach. Hey man, my kid needs some water, or we need a little more water breaks in our practices. So you can be
Yeah.
that person.
Okay. All right. So
I
parents, I hope y'all heard that.
I want to just thank Micaiah for the question, because that brings up another point. Micaiah is a warrior. She is a person that lives with sickle cell disease. And what Devard was saying earlier, you don't have sickle cell disease without trait. That is meaning that every child of a person living with sickle cell disease, every natural offspring, will be born with sickle cell trait at minimum.
Mhm.
Every offspring. It does not water down, it does not dilute after so many births. Every single child of a natural offspring of those living with sickle cell disease will at least be born with sickle cell trait. And it takes two parents. And the most common combination is two parents with trait. Mom has trait, dad has trait. You have a 25% chance of birthing a child with sickle cell disease, a 50% chance of birthing a child with trait, and there's a 0% chance that they'll be born with nothing. But
I have a
that's
nephew
that.
like
Right,
that.
right, exactly.
Nephew,
We
yeah.
but
He's good.
that's how sickle cell trait and disease happens. It is not catchable. It doesn't skip. It is genetics. So, if you have sickle cell disease, all of your children, regardless of your partner, will at least have trait. And more than likely, if you have trait and you procreate with someone else with trait, you have a 25% chance of birthing a child with disease. So this is the number one reason why it's important to know your status. But thank you so much, Devard. You say it so much better than I do. You know, warm up, drink up, rest up is exactly what you said. That rest, that the recovery that happens in sleep
Yeah.
is there's no match. There's no match to what sleep can. But our kids are scrolling. They got all this screen time. Their brains don't quiet down, and all of that is important because stress is a number one symptom maker in even crisis for sickle cell disease. Stress.
Mhm. Yeah. So a couple more comments. Quasi, this information is very important. Thank you. Thank you, Quasi. And Sharice just joined us out of Atlanta. She said she'll catch the replay. But Dr. Jiva said Dr. Austin, is hemoglobin electrophoresis the name of the blood test to request?
That's it.
Okay, perfect.
That's it.
All right, very good. So, y'all, we are out of time. But I want to give you both an opportunity to give some closing remarks, tell the folks how they can connect with with you and share about, again, the event that's taking place tomorrow here in Tallahassee at Florida State University. So we'll start with you, Devard.
You can always catch me. On Instagram. I'm not that. I'm
Okay.
not that popular, but D_Darling 81 at on Instagram. You can find me, but I'm not online that much. But go to asonefoundation.org. That's where you go. Asonefoundation.org. Please, everyone go there, and that's where you can find us and all this information. Thank you.
All right, very good. All right, Dr. Tomia.
I would just double down at As One Foundation on most platforms. Like us, share our post. If you saw something interesting, we post facts and educational information all the time. Please like the As One Foundation and share and comment. We are the As One Foundation on Facebook, but at As One Foundation on LinkedIn, Twitter, X, Instagram, and come to the blood drive tomorrow. Share
Yes.
about, if you can't come, send someone. And going to our website, asonefoundation.org, all spelled out. Oh, Devard, I just want to tell people why we're named what we're named.
I was just getting ready to ask you that. That
As
literally.
One.
Yeah.
So As One came about, when we were born. My sister just, had to remind me of the story. My eldest sister for about the 1,000th time last night. My mom didn't know she was having twins. Being
What?
born home in the Bahamas. We were the youngest of 5. I have 3 older siblings. And there were 2 of them. One's 14 years older, 7 years older. Then my sister is 18 months older than me and Devaughn were. So they went from, my parents went from 2 to 3 to 5, real quick. And the doctor did not know that she was having twins. Doctor only heard 1 heartbeat. So we had 2 hearts beating as one, and that's where the As One Foundation was.
I see what you did.
2 hearts beating
Yes.
as one. Yes, 2 hearts beating as one. Literally, I came out first, and my twin brother was right behind me. So
Surprise!
another one in there. Yeah. So yeah, she had no idea. Doctor had no idea. No ultrasound or nothing like that back in the 80s, back in Nassau, Bahamas. So,
Right.
that's what it was. Doctor only heard 1 heartbeat. 2
That's
hearts beating as one.
As
Yeah,
one foundation.
amazing.
So
That's a wonderful
everything
story.
we do as one.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Yes. So we get a lot of response from the listeners. Janita, she said, I'm thinking about my forefathers. Is it possible that some passed away undiagnosed?
Oh,
That's
absolutely.
yeah. Mhm.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Well, this has been quite the enlightening conversation. I'm telling you, I'm gonna have to replay this for myself, just to all of the gems, because I have sickle cell trait.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do. So I learned many things here tonight. Yes.
Do you know your genotype?
I do not.
Do you know your percentage?
I do not.
Gotta ask for the test.
I need to. Absolutely. 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 Yeah. Do like the sickle cell, maybe foundations or any of those local area sickle cell organizations, do they assist with, that sort of thing?
Yes, and while we're here in Tallahassee, the Sickle Cell Foundation here with Ms. Velvin Stevens, they do an excellent job of supporting the sickle cell community. They do offer testing. They offer, all types of assistance, and they will be joining us tomorrow as well, because we believe in collaboration with the As One Foundation. We do everything as one.
As one,
So
we all one family. Even though
absolutely.
sometimes the sickle cell disease, they want to exclude us, not include us into things. We all one family.
Yeah,
we as one. Oh yeah, for sure. We as one.
we are as one. So the Sickle Cell Foundation right here in Tallahassee will join us tomorrow. But yes, they do testing. They, do family services. Just call them up, and they'll be there tomorrow, so you can link up with them there.
Nice. Thank you for that.
The collaboration.
Yes. So Makai is asking, where is the blood drive? So I'm gonna put the back up.
Thank you. It's at FSU, Micaiah, right at the Unconquered statue in front of the visitor center.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Okay.
Right, we'll be there, and yeah, it will. Well, there'll be, you said a memory bench is there.
We're fundraising for the memory bench, because there's the Devaughn Darling tree, and there's a footstone, but it's a perfect place for a memory bench, and we'll hopefully be able to sell nameplates on the tree, so that'll be in his memory, and you can sit and reflect. It's right. Okay. It's right by the new football facility at FSU. You walk from the football stadium. If you're walking toward the practice facility, it's right there to your left. But we're going to do a memory walk from the blood drive to the tree tomorrow, and that's where the press conference will take place.
Got it. All right. So you got all that information there. We got one final question from Quasi. He said, are there medical remedies in Africa that aid in curing sickle cell?
Okay, so I'm going to answer this, and I'm just going to say that I'm not a clinician, but there are numerous therapeutics available now. And there is sickle cell trait came about as a natural selection, so as a cure, as a defense to malaria, and it still has that purpose. But the therapies that are marketed as cures are bone marrow transplant and gene editing, where one gene editing, they basically take your blood, manipulate it, basically take that bad gene out and then give you your blood back. Bone marrow transplant is you have a donor that gives you unsickled blood. In some instances, they give, your donor can be a person living with trait. So they go from having sickle cell disease to having sickle cell trait. These are available and growing. They have a humongous price tag. They're still an access issue. But I have met plenty of folks that are they're aging very well, haven't been in the hospital in 20 years because they practice good nutrition, they rest, they manage their stress. Doesn't work for everybody, but we've only had medications 50 years. And sickle cell has been in our books, I believe, upwards of 200 plus years. So it's been being managed. The color purple, there's the character in color purple has sickle cell. So it's captured in a lot of text. But we have, quote, 2 cures right now.
Gotcha. Well, thank you for that, because wouldn't have been aware of that at all either. So again, just the information and the education just keeps on going. I appreciate it. All right, so we are like way beyond our time, and I want to be respectful of the time. And I know you all, have a busy day tomorrow. So again, I want to thank you for being my guest, for sharing your story, Devard, and sharing the great work of the foundation, Dr. Tomia, Devard, and all the best with the event tomorrow. So if you are in the Tallahassee area, stop by, give blood, donate, and find out your genotype if you don't know, right?
Amen.
And let's keep this conversation going. There may be somebody that you know who has sickle cell. Look, Marcus just put this up. He said, I had a cousin with sickle cell. This was in the 80s. She acquired HIV/AIDS through a blood transfusion. Ooh, that's rough. We don't want that to happen. But
Things have evolved. Things have evolved.
Things have evolved. Exactly. Things have evolved. But maybe somebody that has trait or sickle cell disease. So again, let's share this. Let's make them become aware and reach out to the foundation, reach out to maybe your sickle cell organization in your city, or that's in proximity to where you are. Okay. So we got quite a few comments. Lori, so glad I was able to catch some of the conversation. Micaiah, keep up the amazing work. Thank you for the conversations. You're welcome. Janita, great conversation. Dr. T has a great speaking voice, very engaging. I love the name, but the story behind golden. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. All right. Yeah. So brilliant name, twin love, brother Hassan. Yes. Brother Hassan Hills over in Pensacola. Very informative and helpful to myself and the population I serve. So Brother Hassan has a youth mentoring group, Youth Left Behind, over in Pensacola. So he's doing great work over there. Prayers and comfort to you. Thank you.
Good work.
Yes, absolutely. All right, good people. So I got to mention this. For those of you who may be new to the platform, please subscribe to Conversations with Nicole on YouTube. We're here Mondays and Wednesdays, 8:30 p.m. Focus on mental health and wellness, especially in Black and Brown communities. So we appreciate you all and your engagement tonight. Again, all the best to you, Devaughn and Dr. Tomia. And we will see y'all next time.
All right.
Bye.